everybody, and welcome back to the I Don't Know Running podcast, where we share our experiences that make running fun and sometimes not so fun. My name's Lewis, and I am a self-admitted lazy ultra runner who has failed at being a bee and wasp nest removal professional.
We'll get into that in a minute. And I'm Mitch. Apparently, I talk with my hands.
Oh, is that right?
If you're hearing impaired, it would make no sense, though, I think is really what it amounts to. But I just move. I don't talk with my hands. I move my hands when I'm talking, apparently.
From
somebody
at work? Or
somebody gave me that feedback.
Oh, while you were running? Because that would be awkward.
No, watching the podcast.
Really? Well, I was trying to think. Is that right?
I guess it's always this hand. So I might hit something with this hand.
Yeah, you don't want to mess with stuff with that hand.
Right.
Editing, because when you said that, I started thinking editing, going, do I see you move your hands a lot? No, it doesn't pop up.
I'm calm now.
Yeah, you don't seem to be moving them a lot.
Maybe this is enough. I don't know.
Maybe. That's interesting. It's cool, though, that you got some feedback on it.
Right.
It's always nice when you get feedback. Or were you watching yourself and you're like, I move my hands a lot?
I didn't think I moved them that much. I think there's people that are worse.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mentioned I am a failed, I don't even know what you call it. What's a person that takes care of bees and wasps and yellow jacket nests?
Like the Orkin man or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what they're called, but they are...
Did you wear a helmet?
I will say that, well, here's the thing. I have a buddy who has a, I don't know, one of those suits that you wear to not get stung. I considered borrowing one from him because here's the deal. For the last 2.5, 3 weeks, I have been trying to kill it's not a bee's nest. It is here's the thing. I got to make that distinction because people will, and I believe rightly so.
The European wasp type thing? They're nasty.
I just got to say that these are not honeybees because if you don't want to kill honeybees, that's what I found out. Those are really good for the ecosystem and like all of that. So these were just straight up wasps or yellow jackets. And, so yeah, for the last 2.5 weeks, I've been trying to get rid of a nest that is kind of like right up there, literally inside the house. I noticed them go in like a couple weeks ago, and I doggone it. Now I got some spray, and I sprayed it, and the problem is that just like pushed them in, I guess, or didn't really eliminate the problem. So I thought, well, spray them again, and spray them again, and spray them again. Was not fixing it. And I would come downstairs into the utility room where I could kind of see them. And man, every time I looked up there, they're still, but they were dying. I would go in there, I'd sweep up a bunch of those things and throw them away. But there were still more and still more. So finally, this was my week this week.
Gasoline?
No, but
I heard that works.
Somebody did recommend brake cleaner. And I went, don't think I want to spray brake cleaner where this is at, right above an electrical box. That could be real bad.
You don't know until you know.
That would be fire inducing. So Tuesday, I threw up my hands. I gave up. Speaking of using your hands, I said, I'm done. I made a phone call.
Well,
I said, I give up. Can you come help? And they came that day, Tuesday, and sprayed it with their kind of spray, and it's a powder also, so that drags it into the nest and like kills them all. And then Wednesday, he showed up and removed it, and it was much bigger than you can see, which is pretty normal because what you can see is just like a iceberg. You only see the little bit on top. This was similar, went way in above.
And it did kill them all.
It did kill them all. He went in there and set up his ladder, and he's pulling them out. And I tell you what, that is like, that I would say, like, there are certain jobs that God just gifts people, like, that's your job. I believe that's one of them because, man, I could not do that. That has got to be.
What did that cost you?
It wasn't bad. It was $150.
Oh, You should have done that the first time.
I know. When I found out, I went, man, I should have made this phone call a long time ago. Yeah. But anyway, that was my week. And then on top of that, I'm trying to do some preparation. You saw the garage is tore apart with woodworking stuff because I'm making some.
You working on the shed?
Shed's done. Shed's been done.
Yeah, but the trim.
Trim's done. Oh, everything's done. Everything's done on the shed. That's all done. I haven't painted. I do have paint. But that was a fall project anyway, so I'm waiting until this fall or end of summer because I wanted the treated wood to all be dried out this summer. So I will paint.
Wait until it starts raining.
I know. October should rain. No, was it October or November? Whatever month I built usually. It rained the entire time. So that's been my week. Crazy busy with stinking yellow jackets and wasps. And I believe he said they were yellow jackets. I don't really care what they are, but they sting and they're gone. So I'm happy about that. But I failed doing it myself. So I haven't ran much. I've been dealing with that. I've just been busy with a lot of different things, and schedule's been flipped upside down because of work and other things I'm helping with other jobs and friends and wife woodworking stuff and trying to do that. And so and on one hand, I don't mind because I've been nursing the ankle, but on the other hand, I'm ready to get back at it. Like I can still feel it, but I'm ready to get back at it. I'm ready. So hopefully after this week, I get back at it.
Yeah. Well, that's been me leading up. So yeah. I've been dealing with a Achilles issue, which is a symptom of other issues, right? And I've been going in. I've been seeing Terrence.
Yeah,
and he's been working with me. I've been doing some exercises, trying to get some crazy ones too. Like it's mostly balance. I have zero balance is really what it amounts to. So I've been going in. I've been doing that stuff so I could run a race this weekend. So I'm signed up to run
tomorrow, right?
It's Sunday. I was supposed to leave tomorrow.
Sunday? Oh.
So to be able to run Sioux Falls Marathon. So getting ready means a whole lot of nothing. Because trying not to get it swell up worse than what it was. He even put me in a boot. So I've been walking around with a boot for a week and then no running. So I've been really good about that. It's been driving me crazy. I feel like I've gained 100 pounds in a week because what do you do if you're not running? You just eat. So I've been doing a lot of eating.
Good cross train, stretch. You can do a lot of that stuff.
Well, I've been stretching and, I've been going to work earlier because what else am I going to do? I get up in the morning. It's like, well, I can't run. I'll just go into work. So anyway, I went yesterday and he put me on the Ultra G.
Final preparations.
Yeah. So I know he's rolling his eyes. Like he knows I'm going to run. So he's like, okay, what do we got to do to get you? Just make sure. And he put me on the Ultra G. I've never been on a zero gravity treadmill.
Yeah. The Ultra G is basically a treadmill that takes gravity away, so to speak. For those that don't know,
you can take a lot of it away is what it turns out. So it's really interesting. So I've never even seen one work. I guess, you can look on the internet or whatever and you can see it, but you put these little pair of pants on that basically seals it and you zip you in and that thing fills up with air and it picks you right up off your feet.
Do you feel top heavy?
Well, when at first he told me it was going to bring me up on my toes and then drop me, but I didn't think it would go
literally.
High enough. Yeah. It does. It picks you up on your toes, and it basically weighs you.
Oh.
At least it didn't put the weight on there to shame me, but brought me back down. So he had me. It can have you run on like only 25% of your weight if you want to.
Wow.
It's crazy. And it's tall enough for me. Like it worked. So he's got two of them. The one is more of it can go faster. So it'd be more for elites, I would imagine.
Gotcha.
I should have been on that one, really.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't think it sits a lot taller. I think I had to be hitting my head on the ceiling. That was part of the problem. And then...
so how many miles did you do?
A mile.
1 mile.
Right.
What did he say? Like, what's the what was the point of 1 mile? So he
had it. So he was just slowly, he took a lot of weight off and he slowly put, like I do a minute walk, a minute run, easy run. And then he was slowly putting more weight on my ankle to see how much I noticed, like how bad it would hurt. And
oh, gotcha.
it wasn't bothering me. I know it's there. I know it's tight.
It's Achilles. Feeling the Achilles.
And my calf. I can feel it in my calf too.
Okay.
So like if I run my normal run, I'll hardly be able to walk the rest of the day. So I knew that running this marathon, it's like I'm going to suck it up, get another state, and then I'm going to probably hurt for a week. So we're just trying to prepare for that. And then the biggest thing is not going there with it completely flared up, trying to get it to not be so flared up. And it was really interesting. So there's all these gauges on there, and I'm not very scientific. I know Terrence is going to correct me when he gets back in here again. It shows that I'm favoring my left side.
Opposite of the hurt.
So, well, that's
no. So the hurt side.
The hurt side, I am not putting as much weight. So even in a run, you can see that 40% of my weight is on that side, and I'm really leaning on my right side. So all the stuff that Dave and Terrence talk about when they're in here about how it causes other issues,
right?
The data is right there.
I would like to see. It would have been interesting though to see your normal healthy,
right?
Because a stride could be that, like, who knows, when you thought you were healthy,
right?
Maybe you have always been favoring something for some reason.
I know I dragged that foot.
Well, yeah, that's what I was saying. Everybody knows. Well, everybody knows.
I wear my shoes. I wear my, and he was really they put a camera on your feet too, so he's critiquing me on my heel strike too.
Oh, really? So they can see when you're striking right there,
and you can see your cadence, which is
what was yours, like 130,
100, giant steps. No, it was like 160.
You're like literally leaping, stopping.
Close. 160, I think.
Oh, that's not bad.
So, yeah, he was, of course, pointing that out and pointing out my heel strike and pointing out all that stuff.
I wonder if 160 is a common cadence that people will fall into.
I do know the bigger your stride, the more you put on the brakes. So you're basically jolting yourself every time. So it does make sense to tighten up your stride. But
yeah.
But I still go with, like, that's what's natural for me. It would take a lot of work to get out of that.
Yeah, I know.
And if you try to do it, in 2 days, you end up getting hurt.
Well, you don't do it in 2 days. But I wish I would have kept a little more data. Well, actually, I could probably jump into some of it and look at power delivery at 160 versus power delivery at 180. Heart. The amount of, because I could tell. Like, I actually texted Brad Prime and just said, hey, it's weird. And I know that you're supposed to be at 180. That is the number that seems to work for most for efficiency and all that. I said, it's odd because it feels like you're working harder, but because it's different, I think that's why it feels like you're working harder.
Well, you feel like, because you got to move your feet faster, like that's going to be more work. And what I've noticed is it's not. Like when I used to do it for trying to do intervals.
Yeah.
As I was working on that, doing intervals, a few years ago, and you can run faster.
Well, yeah, that's what I texted him and said, hey, yeah, it feels like you're working harder, but the data tells me I'm not. I looked at my heart rate and it was going down as my cadence would increase because you're not working as hard, even though it feels like you are. But I think that, like I said, that's just the difference. You're trying to do something different.
It would be interesting to work with one of the two of them. Or they do have a trainer in there too, but to just work on your cadence. Mm-hmm. Like, it'd be interesting if you're not signed up for anything and saying, okay, let's come in here and
and
have somebody watch. I know you can do it on your own, but to have somebody actually watch.
Yeah. The last 2 runs I went out and did, I did not pay attention until halfway through, and I was doing 180 because of working this summer to get that cadence up from what was usually about 160 to 65 up to 180, and obviously doing it too quick. But working over the summer and doing that, the last couple have been way more natural.
I wonder if it's like getting into like an injury status, like if that's made me take bigger strides too. Because I've been getting slower, and I wonder, like I've been hurt, and then you start getting lazy.
I have noticed it's hard to, and this is something I'll have to work on, obviously, that the 180 mark is very difficult to slow down and do. So yeah, if you're injured and you're trying to
go slow, you're
slow.
Well, it's like that marathon shuffle.
Yeah.
Like when you're really tired like that, you're a mess.
Yeah. So anyway, you were in the Ultra G and you're doing this workout, getting things figured out, getting all excited that you can go run this marathon. And
I go to bed last night. I'm walking upstairs and I see I got an email on my phone. I pull it out. No, full marathon canceled.
Oh,
are you kidding me?
Sioux Falls, is that what it is?
Yeah, it's not Utah Falls or anything like that. Or
Sioux Falls, though.
Sioux Falls.
It is Sioux Falls, right?
Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Canceled their marathon and half and everything.
No, not the half.
Oh, you're kidding.
I could have gone there and done the half or the 5K, I guess.
Wow, really?
Yeah, because of the heat. Like later in the day, it's supposed to get really hot. My thought right away, I was kind of angry, and I'm like, you have a race in the summer in August. It's going to be hot.
Yep.
You got to prepare for that. Like, why would you have the race in the summer then? Because I was prepared for it. I was thinking, I know how to run in the heat. You just run slower. You don't.
Yeah.
Not everybody is like that, but I know I'm like, I had already packed my running vest. I was going to carry water. I knew it was going to be hot, and I was going to just take it easy and drink like crazy in between, and then bring it back. Like I was fine with it because all I was doing was getting a state.
What time was the race start? Do you remember?
It was 6. It was pretty early, 6 or 7 in the morning. But it was going to probably be like 70 degrees in the morning already. But
I see the high. I just looked up the high, and I wonder if it's changed from what I saw. This morning I saw they showed a heat wave rolling through.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's going to hit us Monday. We have 90 something on Monday, but yeah, I thought I saw 100 and something, but maybe
heat index.
Maybe that's what it was. Heat index. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm like, I was kind of angry. It's like, I go through all the stuff last night. So I stay up later. I'm like, okay, I text Ben. Did you see that? No, I didn't. So then I'm like, he's like, I got the cheap flight. It's not refundable. And then he texts me back and he says, I lost $100. I go online and I was like, I got to cancel that hotel. It's like $400. I couldn't cancel it online. I end up I called them and they let me cancel the hotel. I had the cheap flight. So I lost $100 on the flight and the cost of the race. They did let me move it to next year. I don't know if I'd go out. I don't know. I mean, who knows what's going to happen if I'll even end up running that race or.
Yeah. There's probably not a ton of marathons in South Dakota.
There's more in South Dakota than like New Jersey. Like I've been trying to look up New Jersey. There's not a lot of races in New Jersey.
Gotcha.
So I'm like, I was just pissed. I get up today and I start thinking about it. And I'm like, I'm glad they told me now that I could recoup my cost and not be there. Because
at least most of it, yeah.
I've been at a race before. They canceled it the morning of when we got up because of storms coming in. So we're already there, spent all the money, got nothing out of it.
Yeah, and I think we've kind of talked about that before on the podcast. in that case, it was weather related for storms, which I don't know. What's a race supposed to do? You know, it's you, when you sign up, in all of that data or in all of that text, it does say, yeah, sorry, if something happens and we cancel, there's no refunds. In this case, a little bit different. At least they were able to cancel early enough that you weren't flying out there. And then when I texted you, was it yesterday? And I said, when you leaving, blah, blah, blah. And you said, I'm not. They canceled it. And I knew why. It was supposed to be for heat. I went to the internet and I said, how hot is too hot for the marathon? And I was so frustrated. I think it was actually this morning. I was doing some more info or just trying to dig for some data on people that this has happened to or marathons that this has happened to. And I read this article. I read this whole stupid article. And it never even...
They didn't give you anything.
That was the title. It said, how hot is too hot for a marathon?
Clickbait.
It was total. And I thought, what a stupid article. You didn't even address this. You talked about like some things with heat marathons, but you never actually posed the question and then talked about it.
I see. The thing is, though, is I just ran in that. Again, I understand. Not everybody... We ran in the desert. I ran with Laura. Coming down that mountain, coming into Carson City, it was over 100 degrees.
There's a big... That's
wide open.
The difference is that's an ultra.
Right.
There's a big difference between
tougher people,
trail ultras or trail and road marathons.
Right.
Huge difference.
And there was 9 miles in between the aid stations.
Yeah.
I had to carry that much water. I was getting close to running out of water as we're getting done.
Do you think with ultras, you are told you need to take care of yourself? You can't, and maybe that's why road races are, I don't know. There's a huge difference, obviously.
That was my critique from the last one I did too, is aid stations 3 miles apart when you're not expecting that.
Yeah.
Is a little different. Like if you're used to not carrying water, and maybe I could see that, but in this race, if they had water every mile, it could be doable.
I don't know, because here's the deal.
Not for everybody. I get
that's the problem. You could do it, no problem. Number one, to slow down. Number two, hey, I might have to carry water at this one. I might have to take extra salt. I might have to take or drink more water than normal, more electrolyte drinks than normal. But I don't know. I don't know what the percentage is, but it's probably a decent sized percentage that does not understand that. And the race then has to deal with a lot of overheat, exhaustion, heat stroke issues.
Prepared. And then it's their medical team that probably gave them the say, hey.
Yeah.
Because they're probably not prepared to handle that much.
Yeah.
Look at issues.
Didn't Chicago cancel like mid-race once?
They did, and that's the debacle of all marathons. And that's why everybody is really careful about it, is because it was, did they or didn't they?
Yeah.
And I've been at a race where there was misinformation like that too. They canceled it. They thought it was canceled because of the storms. They never canceled it. They actually tried to get us off the course.
Yeah.
We're a mile from the finish line. It's like, we're going to the finish.
I'll just run to the finish.
We'll just go there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a tough position.
No,
I get what you're saying though. If you're a summer marathon, I don't know. I don't know if you've got to like have it on your website. Like, look, it could be 90.
I like Don Kern's races. They all say, like it says, the marathon will be held outside.
Yeah, right.
Weather
could be
the weather.
50, it could be 90.
You should be prepared. You should kind of go in there. I get it for newbies and stuff like that. How do you know until you know? That's how you learn, but it could be a dangerous way to learn.
It can be, and that's the only thing I look at and go, they're in a tough spot when it's that hot and it's that much. Well, in this case, maybe it's 20 degrees over normal, or 15 degrees over normal at the start. Well, maybe not at the start, the high maybe,
but it would be. Well,
I guess it would be. Yeah,
it'd be your back of the Packers that would really suffer.
Yeah, because a 5-hour marathon turns into a 6 or more, and you really have not people that can't finish then.
Yeah, that was so. I'm out the entry unless I run it next year, and I'm out $100 on my flight.
I was surprised too. Well, at least you have the potential that you can do it. They didn't just say you're screwed, because I think COVID took care of a lot of that, where races were like canceled. Sorry, wait, no, we should get some money back for that. And I think that changed, because it used to be they canceled. It was you were just.
Well, they'd offer virtual option. I'm glad they didn't offer me a virtual option.
Yeah, right.
No thanks.
That would have been funny. Yeah, you can run the virtual as long as the temperature is below 70.
No, I ran it in 100 degrees.
Yeah,
show you
just to have a race,
just out of spite.
Yeah. Shoot, I wanted to say something on that, but I don't remember now. I don't remember now, but anyway, that's a bummer. Hopefully you can, I don't know, hopefully you can do it next year, but
yeah. I'm hoping, because I'm really trying to narrow down this year. I was going to try to really click off some, and that kind of really screws up. My Achilles was messing up my schedule anyway, but that's like, man, I don't know how I do it now.
That's what it was. I remember now. When I researched how hot is too hot, number one, there was not a good answer. And I think that I think for road, I do think that there is a threshold. And once it's over that, they really, especially anything that's not like either a major or I don't know, there may be a size threshold where they do have the medical to be able to support and take care of a lot of things. But I do think, as much as it sucks, I think being on the cautious side is probably better in the end when it's going to be that hot for people that are not prepared. Trail, ultra, when have they ever, I've never heard of a trail or ultra being canceled. No, I take that back. There was one in
could be two. Well, I've run the Huff when it was below zero.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
My hands, like, not even too cold. Like, I had gloves on. You take your glove off, your hand would immediately freeze. Like, you would have frostbite.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
It's a different world.
And I had good gloves, and my hands were sweating inside, so them things would freeze at the end. They're frozen at the end.
Well, think of the Badger, or what is that one in Minnesota? It's a bike or a run, and you pull all your stuff on a sled. It's like 200 miles or something crazy. It's a long race, but you need to bundle up. That is a straight up winter race.
I was thinking another ultra where they delayed it like an hour because of lightning. They waited but then once the race started,
it's on. Think about Woodstock the year. What was that year? It was tornadoes and
trees blew down.
Lightning.
The second loop, I come back around and I had to hop over trees.
Yeah.
And then they said that the main tent almost blew away.
Yeah. But it went on.
Yeah. Kept going.
There was no stopping that one. I did think it was interesting in that article that I looked up. They said, and I think this is just funny. I think this is, I don't know. Elites were complaining about it being too hot and having to run in those conditions for the sake of, I don't know, TV or whatever. And I thought, who cares?
Suck it up. You're all doing it.
Suck it up. You got to adjust your pace. That's how it works.
Uh-huh.
If it's 50, you can run a certain pace. If it's 60, you can run a certain pace. If it's 70, you can. I mean, how does that? I don't get it. Like,
I don't feel bad one bit.
I don't either. You have the best technology in racing in every way, shape, or form. Nutrition, shoes, gear, everything. And you're going to complain about the heat because Des Linden actually, she didn't throw anybody under the bus, but she scoffed at it. She said, whatever, run it. You adjust.
She won.
Yeah. Boston. Yeah. Yeah.
That was crazy.
So I did laugh at that because I don't think they have a leg to stand on. The race and the back half.
We could beat them.
Totally.
We could beat them on those days because they drop.
Yeah. Well, they do. Yeah. Because they don't know. And I think I shouldn't say. an elite went across the finish and more or less collapsed. And I just think, well, you screwed up then. You didn't run the proper race. You can't just bury yourself and pass out and say, oh, it's the weather's fault. No, that's yours.
Or good for you for giving it everything you got.
I guess, yeah. But don't blame it on the weather.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway.
You should have done that on a good day.
Yeah. True. Yeah, you should always collapse across the finish line to give it your all. But that did bring up, we do want to touch on this a little bit. I thought it was interesting. We talked about this last week because of you were thinking about Big Sur, and then this got canceled, and we were talking about the cost of races.
Right.
And so we quickly just did did I talk about? Because it does seem like they've went up.
Yeah. Because I don't know if I talked about this. Did I talk about this on air about how much Big Sur is to get?
I don't think we did.
If you get chosen in the lottery, it's like $300 and some. So you put your name in the lottery.
I think it was more than that.
You can guarantee.
But anyway, it's a lot.
Yeah. Which is top 10 most beautiful marathons in the world. It is. Everybody I've talked to that's run it has said it's worth it. Like, it is such a great race. And then I look up, you can get a guaranteed entry, like buy your way in.
To Big Sur?
To Big Sur for like $750.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah. So if you really want to run it,
I don't want to run it that bad.
You can, but I'm like,
there's not a marathon in the world I want to run that bad. It's not one. There's not one.
Like, oh my gosh. Like, that's nuts. Like, you look even at some of the local races, $150.
Oh, easy.
I can remember getting into Glass City for $50.
I know. Yeah. So we looked up the cost. So it just posed a question. What have races done over the last 20, 30 years? So this is only, and this only goes back to 2000. I wonder what it was pre. Man, if you look pre, I bet you it was the $50 range.
Yeah.
So from 2000 to 2010, the average, this is the average, roughly $65 to $100 to enter a marathon. Now, this is average, so you're going to have some that are a little more, like Boston was probably more, Chicago was probably more, New York was probably more, LA. The big ones, the majors, were probably a little bit more.
The majors could pretty much charge whatever they want.
I know. I'm thinking about, that.
Isn't that, I mean.
And then 2010 to 2020, they went up to 120 to 180. So it's a pretty good jump there. Because even the bottom end is more than the top end the prior decade.
Even the price of Sioux Falls, it's like a second-year race. It's over $100, well over $100, second-year race. But I understand it costs a lot to put on a race, too, at the same time.
Yeah. And then 2020, and this is just in the last 4 years. So since 2020, the average is 200 to 250. So you think there's it's definitely a big shift because, you talk about Sioux Falls, which is probably 150 to 80, something like that. 150?
I can't remember. I kind of ignore that part sometimes.
Well,
close my eyes. Does it fit? Does it hit my goal?
Oh, yeah.
Dang it.
Right. So you can see the price has jumped a lot in the last 20 plus years, which obviously that makes sense. It's going to go up.
Right.
But yeah, you go even pre that. I mean, man, it was $100 was a lot for a marathon.
That's what, Old Forts races.
Oh, Old Farts? Yeah, I know.
How much was the Mummy? Like $50?
I don't even, was it that much? I don't know, 50, 55 maybe, something like that.
And if you would have mailed in your entry,
save $10.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I actually thought about it for saving the $10 too.
I know.
But I couldn't be for certain I was going to go do it. So I didn't. But anyway, yeah. So the cost of races has definitely increased, as well as everything associated with it. Look at a cost of a watch today.
Oh yeah.
For a GPS watch.
Yeah,
now, granted, there's a huge variety too. You can get one for $150 and you get one for $1,050.
Yeah.
All day long.
Well, did you see the message from Karen where she was asking what watch to buy? It's like, man, that's a huge can of worms.
Yeah. Well, that's what I said.
What do you want it for?
Yeah.
Like
there are
you want a long battery life? Do you want,
Yeah. And if I was buying today, I would look at battery life a lot.
Oh yeah.
I want basically 3 things: running, battery life, and golf. because I wear mine for golf. So that's when I got mine. That was one of the things that I had that. So, but yeah, shoes, you look at shoes, nutrition, all of that, like just how much.
Well, the pack I just bought too. I mean, that wasn't cheap.
No, not cheap. So yeah, all of that, it does cost a lot now compared to, now granted, I guess when you look back, we didn't run with nearly as much stuff either. And the technology wasn't there nearly as much either. But
back when I started, we used to plant water. You'd buy a water jug and you'd set it out.
Yeah.
Sounds like a lot of work just to get up and run. So now I wear a vest if I want water, but I can remember
chuck a bunch of stuff in there and go.
Yeah, and putting water out and then getting to that point and somebody stole our water jugs.
Yeah.
Well, it's just, you don't have to worry. And then you have to go and pick them back up.
Yep.
Now, you just go as you go.
Yeah, I remember running with Jim way back when I first started running, and we did a run, and he went by a corner, and he had planted some stuff, and he got his Gatorade, and he ran with it for the next, I don't know, mile or two, and got his drink, and then he chucked it, and then he would come back with the car and pick stuff up on his way back out.
And you don't have to, because the vests are so comfortable now. You don't like.
Well, even a handheld has come a long ways from the amphipods that used to go on your.
Because that was it. Like, you don't want to put a vest on when it's 90 degrees, but a handheld in your hand, you can run without a shirt, and that's not horrible.
Think about even just in we don't want to take this forever, but think just in our time of running, how far, like water carrying options have come.
Oh yeah. I think I've mentioned this. I got like 7 different water carrying apparatuses. Well, not including handhelds. I got probably 10 handhelds alone.
Yeah. But the amphipod waist things were not fun to run with.
I liked mine. It was comfortable. That one I
never liked,
because I could put it on my back and it just felt, it was tight enough. It didn't rub.
Yep.
But the ones that had on the sides where they fell off all the time, that one sucked.
Yeah. No, when they went to the back and good handhelds, that's all I use, and I love them. So,
well, to add to our marathon entry stuff, I did.
Oh yeah,
put into Tokyo.
That's got to be cheap.
Well, it's not that. Well, the entry itself is really not that bad because it is one of the majors. But I thought, well, why not? We'll just see what happens. So I put my name in the hat. I could have spent more money and got 3 chances for the lottery for another $200. At least that's what my simple math was.
Yeah, I don't like those chances though, because I don't know how many people put in, but a lot, I'm sure.
Yeah, because I put in for London and I didn't get drawn for that either. But I thought, like I'm almost done with 50 states. Why not just put my name in a hat for those races?
The majors?
Maybe, like I think it would be worthwhile doing. It doesn't have to be all in one year.
Yeah, an experience.
Yeah. I don't know if I care if I get them all, but I know Chicago and New York would probably be easier to do and get into.
Yeah. Yeah.
But why not?
Yeah.
So everybody wish me luck.
Yeah. Or donate a what do you call it?
A place to stay?
Well, a place to stay, but I was thinking, what is that when you raise money to get in?
Oh, charity.
Charity entry. Yeah. If you have a charity entry and you've raised it, Mitch would take that.
I need more than that. I need the travel part too.
Yeah.
Anybody want to?
Does anybody have a private jet, helicopter?
We need to have somebody listening in Tokyo that has a place to stay. I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah. That would be
complete stranger. Like, let's go.
Yeah. Yeah. I would guess Tokyo wouldn't be bad on, I think it's the same as probably any major city, as far as cost of a hotel or whatever. But I'm sure the race would be good. I'm trying to think if Andrew, if he posted anything about the race.
I'll have to ask him.
Yeah.
I see
about how it went. But I bet it would be fun. I
know a few people that have run it now.
Okay. Did Carl do that one?
No. I think he's saying.
Did he do? London?
He got into Berlin.
Oh, Berlin.
And then it was like, can't go.
Oh,
couldn't
bummer.
go.
That's a bummer. Well, cool. Yeah. I think that's it.
I think so.
Well, hey, go to our Facebook page, follow us there, like us there, share it with somebody who runs, and check us out on YouTube. Check us out on all the listening platforms. Check us out on Patreon. Go to Patreon, join us there, trying to build that out. And with that, that's going to wrap up this week's episode of the I Don't Know Running podcast. Be sure to tune in next time as we share more about what we just don't know.
And find me a race in South Dakota. Until then, happy running.